In the meantime, there's God yelling, "Where are you?" Hiding in the bush. Well, my big cover-up, the bush that I hid under, began like Ralphie's when I was a child. And it has taken me nearly 5 decades to crawl out from under the bush from where I nearly shot my eye out and begin the naked journey of trusting God to love me, restore me, and use me, broken glasses and all. You see, I was born Appalachian poor. And somewhere along the squiggly lines of growing up, I decided that what was wrong with my family was our poverty. So in my childish mind, I determined that I would find a way to make money. Well, I can be a very determined person. And in fact, I did find a way to climb the corporate ladder, ascend well into the 6-figure income arena, and think I had arrived. Of course, that fueled a lifestyle where I lived with my family in the beautiful countryside, far away from my city job. Early one morning, though, while driving my 45-minute commute, long before the fog had time to clear the basin between the twin peaks of Double Oak Mountain, I cut through the murkiness, clipping off the miles by making big deal plans for the day on my cell phone. While I multitasked and watched the flashing taillights ahead, images began to fill my mind like a movie playing in my head. In this mental movie, I saw myself dressed in my typical business attire, sporting manicured nails and flawless makeup, negotiating away on my cell phone, just like I did every day. It was just any other work day, until I reached intersecting County Road 43 in this mental movie. Rarely traveled by the public, County Road 43 was a favorite for large logging trucks. They could barrel through all the twists and turns, confident that no sheriff would catch them or even care. The drama playing in my head was so intense it felt as though I were really living it. A Mack truck came barreling along County Road 43. A tangle of overgrowth blurred the intersecting roadways. The driver had no idea he was fast approaching a busy highway. He thought he was tunneling through one more cluster of low-hanging trees. He saw the bush. He did not see the stop sign snarled within it. The truck didn't even slow down for the hidden stop sign. I didn't even see him coming. He plowed right through me. As my mental movie played on, the moment of impact was deafening, with sounds of crushing metal twisting, grinding, and assaulting my senses. Glass shattered along the pavement. Pieces of both vehicles tossed and tumbled into the air, and I flew slow motion through the windshield, tumbling across the slick metal hood and then sprawled like a rag doll, bloody and broken, landing face down and split asunder on the shoulder of the road. I was so startled by the scenes as they unfolded in my head, I broke into a cold sweat. Mercilessly, the movie played on. I saw my husband, Milton, still in his bathrobe, getting the kids ready for school. The phone rang. Milton instinctively reached for it, and listening over the ruckus of our kids as they fussed in the background, an officer broke the news to Milton. His face went slack, grew pale. The news punched him, stole his breath, and he pushed the receiver into his stomach and cried out, "No, no, Kimberly, no!" He dropped the receiver and the children ran into the kitchen where they saw their father crying. Milton pushed out the best words he could find. "A truck hit Mom. She's dead. Mom is gone." With tears streaming down my cheeks, the images continued to flicker through my mind as I kept driving towards my corporate job. My boss's phone rang. He took the news, sadly shaking his head. A tear slid down his cheek. My boss sent out a corporate memo about my death and allowed all of my employees time off to attend my funeral. Everything stopped for a day. Everyone stunned for a day. The day before the funeral, the local paper posted my untimely obituary. The day after my funeral, Human Resources placed an ad to fill my position. And this same newspaper, just 2 days earlier, had announced my tragic, untimely death. That was it. Life went on, at least for everyone else. I'd worked so hard for what I thought was the right thing for me and my family. Now, I was dead, and with my death, everything in which I had invested the majority of my time was gone too. It left no lasting value. Death revealed my life to be a well-concealed Ponzi scheme, a swindle, a farce, a compromise. I fooled everyone, even myself. Shaken by this unsettling vision, I scrambled to find something of value. I considered my children. We have 6. They were great kids and good students, but kids whose main concerns were to be popular athletes, pretty cheerleaders, or to drive cool cars. They were excellent students of every stride I had made, chasing the American dream, collecting things, pursuing achievements, and looking great on the outside. All of this came at the expense of what their hearts most longed for, but for which they weren't even conscious. To know the exact reason God had created them and how to spend their entire lives from that sacred place. It hurt to realize the values I had handed down to my children. Even in our church, we didn't really teach our kids about being a part of something bigger. We tried mostly to make sure that we provided enough entertainment mix in their religion to hook them into our church so that we didn't lose them to the competition. Sometimes we feared that competition might be a boyfriend, other times drug pusher, still other times another church down the road. Sure, we did soup kitchens and extracurricular goodness, but these activities were tack-ons. They weren't a way of life. To be honest, we adults in church weren't a whole lot different. We too seemed to prefer fun over transformation. Only our definition of fun was a little more refined. Over the years, somehow it had been diluted to something more like comfort. In a heartbeat, I knew this is the emptiness that wakes me in the middle of the night. The ravenous hunger inside me that howls and growls, but that nothing seems to fill. I longed to know that not just what I did mattered, but that I mattered, that my life mattered. I longed to feel God's pleasure in me, as when He first delighted in Adam and Eve, saying, "It is very good." I couldn't imagine God looking at my life and saying, "It is very good." At best, He might say something like, "Well, at least she's trying to check off all the right things. It's just too bad she doesn't see how I made her to shine, brighten the world and live free." That's when it hit me. Nothing could fill this emptiness. Not work, no matter how many promotions I achieved. Not money, no matter how much I earned. Not power, no matter how much I acquired. Not vacations, no matter how exotic they were. Not even family, no matter how proud they made me. The movie I experienced on that early morning commute looped through my head so many times that I gave it a title: the Mack Truck Syndrome. Unfortunately, Angelina Jolie wasn't the star. I was, and the plot was killing me. Milton and I had started our lives together much as most any two people do, full of love, hope, excitement, and expectations that those